just if you need it. So the first thing that I wanted to show you this evening is the Graphene Community College guidance website. So this website, it's a part of our main school website. So when you're looking for it, when you go on to the graphenecc.ie website, and when you go to the curriculum tab, and just down five down there, you'll see the guidance. And when you click on guidance, when you're on the Graphene website, it will bring you straight into the guidance website there. So I'm just going to go to that here, just in my Safari here. So on this website, this is just somewhere where I'm going to put in whatever I come across, so each and every day I'm getting emails from lots of different places like Careers Portal or Qualifax or Career News coming into me. And if anything I think is relevant to the students or to parents or that, I'll be popping it up here on the college website. And it's just a place then for you to go to get information. And then if you're looking for something and you can't find it, as I said, just send me an email or get your child to ask it in class. But just a couple of things on the website, the guidance website of note, is just underneath the video here in the middle, there is a link to a form where the students can request an appointment with me. So any of the students, if they feel they need to have a one-on-one chat, maybe there was something in careers class they weren't sure of, or there's a college course or a job or something they're considering that they want to talk about or find out more information about, they can click that link and fill in the form, and I get a request then to make an appointment with them. And I do that then as soon as I can. Another thing on the website is the articles here over on the left-hand side. And there is kind of subsections, I suppose, there for parents. There's careers articles, 6 years, and so on. So just to show you one of them, a recent thing I came across was a webinar on study skills. So if you click into that, and hopefully it will do it, yeah. If you click into that, I've put the information in there. So it's actually Waterford Education Centre that are running this webinar, but it's online. So anyone around the country can sign up and register and log on for this study skills webinar. Oh, no, I don't know what happened there. And there's 3 sessions. They're 45 minutes each over 3 evenings. And it sounds good. So for anyone who you feel is studying and is maybe struggling with knowing how to study and what to study and how to plan for it, this might be a webinar of interest, and it's free. So the articles section there, as I was saying, will have articles like that, things that I come across, I'll pop up there. One thing for the 6 years, just to show you, each week a video is released by a website called Classroom Guidance, and each week then I put the video up here as well. There's a link to it, and it's a really short video which just goes through everything that's happening that week kind of in the careers world or in the college world. So open days and stuff like that are in the video, and it's just somewhere for students to be checking in if there's a particular college that they'd like to visit, just to keep an eye there. And the other thing, any school events that we have going on will appear up here. And then further down on the page, I have got the Careers Portal Twitter there. Careers Portal man that themselves, obviously, but it just means anything to do with college and careers is popping up there every day. And then at the bottom, there's also career news, college news, and events, and Careers Portal man those bits there. So every day there's information going up about careers and college and future options. So I think it's a good website just to keep an eye on. So just going back to the PowerPoint there, the first thing I wanted to look at with you was the National Framework of Qualifications, so the NFQ. And I've showed this to the 6th years and even last year when they were in 5th year. So I think it's really just good to know that, there are 10 levels on the framework. And the 6th years, the current 6th years have all completed their junior cycle. So they all currently have a level 3 qualification on the NFQ. And some of them now are doing a level 4 Leaving Certificate applied, and a lot of them are doing the level 5, the Leaving Certificate. So at the end of 6th year, whether they're doing the LCA or the traditional Leaving Cert, they're coming out of school with either a level 4 or a level 5. And whether you're doing LCA or the traditional Leaving Cert, you can move on up through the qualifications all the way up to level 10 if that's what you want to do. So for our LCAs, they might decide to go on and look at a level 5 course, and then following that, they can apply to either a 6, 7 or an 8. And for our traditional Leaving Cert students who are coming out with a level 5, they might decide to do another level 5 qualification, or they can go on to apply to a 6, 7 or 8. And then after an 8 is when you can look at moving to a 9 or a 10. So essentially everyone can get all the way up through the levels. It just depends where you're starting from and where you want to go to. So that's just a little bit on the NFQ. So PLCs. PLCs are post-leaving certificate courses. They are NFQ level 5 or 6. Okay. And I think they're really, really good options for lots of different reasons. One being, you know, some students aren't quite ready or are a little bit maybe unsure about what they want to do in college or university, or what career path they might want to go down. So a PLC can be a really good option. And the reason I say that is because PLCs are quite short. They're 1 or sometimes 2 years long, and they're relatively inexpensive. So at the moment, a 1-year PLC course is standard across the country is €200. So it's not a lot of money, you know, to do a course and to try out something that you think you might be interested in. And then you might be more sure about, do I want to continue with that into university or into college? PLCs also have links with higher education. So sometimes what that means is that students who have done a PLC course, maybe if they didn't get enough CAO points the previous year, they didn't get their choice, they go on and they do a PLC. And there are a reserved amount of places then in higher education colleges like Maynooth, Trinity, UCD and so on that have links to PLC colleges, and they reserve a certain number of places for PLC students. So it just means that they might have a better chance the following year if they decide to go on and continue in that area of study in a higher education college or university. It's a chance to discover that area, and it's also, you know, a really good option for Leaving Cert applied students because they're coming out with the level 4, and it's the next step for them to get their level 5 and then to move on from there. I'm just going to click back in because I think there's a few more people in the lobby, so just a second. Okay, so I'll go back here. So just continuing with PLCs for just a moment. They're post-leaving certificate courses, and they're available in colleges of further education. So the likes of Dunboyne, Ballyfermot, Inchicore, Liberties, and so on. There's loads of them all around the country. So colleges of further education is where you get your post-leaving cert courses. As I said, they're usually 1 to 2 years. They're full-time courses. They tend to be very targeted towards specific jobs and specific industry. So they really are very directly related to employment. And work experience is a huge part of PLC courses. It's integral to them. So it's giving students a real hands-on experience of the job that they might decide to move into in their career in the future. And it gives, I suppose, you know, like any work experience, they're actually really getting to experience what it's like. And they can decide then, is that really what I want to do? Do I want to do more study in that area? So for any of your sons or daughters that are thinking of applying for a PLC, they need to apply directly to the college, directly to the PLC college that's offering the course that they're interested in. I'm more than happy to help them with the applications, but just so that you know, it's not through the CAO, it's directly to the college. And like I already said, there is an annual participant fee of €200 for PLC courses. But some people are eligible for doing the PLC courses for free. So for example, if you hold a medical card, or if you are the dependent child of a medical card holder, or if you're entitled to a student grant, or if you're in receipt of the Back to Education allowance. So there are some exceptions there. But I do think for €200, like I said, it's a really good option, particularly for students who maybe don't get their choice in CAO, or maybe are that little bit unsure or not quite ready to move on to a level 6, 7, or 8. So like I've already said, they're like a stepping stone into college, into university. So that's the Higher Education Link Scheme. So that, but basically what it means is that in some instances, places can be reserved for NFQ level 5 holders, so PLC students Okay, so for example, if you have a son or daughter, a student who is interested in nursing and they really want to go and study nursing in UCD, but maybe they don't get enough points or they don't meet the entry requirements to get into that course, or maybe they're just a bit unsure, is nursing really for me? They might decide to do nursing studies, okay, a PLC course, which is available in Collinstown Park. Okay, so entry to first year of nursing in UCD, there is availability on that program for students who pass the relevant QQI level 5, so the relevant PLC course. It's important to know that they do need to pass with distinction in at least 5 components of the course. So PLCs usually are broken down into modules or components. Usually there's 8 modules or 8 components in the course. So for UCD, they're saying if you're a PLC student and you go and do nursing studies, a PLC in Collinstown Park, which is linked with DDL ETB, and if you get a distinction, which is 80% or more in 5 of your modules or components, then you're eligible to apply to go for nursing in UCD. And it just might mean you might get into it that way if you weren't successful in the CAO. So progression from advanced certificate then for level 2. So in some instances, learners can progress straight into year 2 of a course in an institute of technology. So for example, if a student does a PLC course in engineering or in that sort of area, they can possibly get into an institute of technology like TU Dublin straight into year 2. So essentially they can skip a year because a lot of the modules that they do in the PLC would have the same content as year 1 in the IT or in the technological university. But that's something just to check with the admissions offices in those universities. So what I would say there, like, it's a lot of information. It's a lot even for the students to take on. But if they know the area that they're interested in and they're maybe a little bit worried, will I get in? Will I get enough points? Just tell them to talk to me and we can have a look and see, is there a PLC? Is there a stepping stone to get into that course then maybe the following year? I just want to check the lobby. I think there's another person waiting. Yeah. Okay. So for more information on PLCs, a really good website is plccourses.ie. So it's basically a database of all the different PLC courses that are available in Ireland with lots of information on them. So that's a really good starting point for you to go to or for students to go to. But as always, there's no problem sending me an email or for the student to request an appointment with me, and I can go through it with them in more detail if that's something that they're interested in. So I'm going to move on now to CAO. So CAO is the Central Applications Office. So basically, CAO is like a big computer that students apply to. They fill in an online application and it goes to the CAO computer. And then after the Leaving Cert results are released, the CAO computer does all the work and filters through all the applications and see who's getting offers for what. So it's just an applications office. They just process the applications that students put in for their level 6, 7, or 8 courses, if that's what they decide they're going to do. So it's cao.ie. That's the website that you would need to have a look at, that students need to have a look at. Okay. I'm just going to play this short video. And this just kind of goes through the CAO process, I think, in a really good way. And it's a short enough video. So I hope this plays.
CAO, it's not quite as good as a sorting hat, but it's all we've got. Where and what you study at third level is your choice. It's your responsibility. It is your decision. Understand as much as you can about the courses on your CAO and list these in genuine order of preference. What you need to get an offer, college requirements, faculty requirements, and points. College requirements refer to the minimum entry requirements for certain categories of courses. For example, for level 6, 7 courses, you will need 506s in your Leaving Cert. And for level 8 courses, you will need at least 2 H5s and 4 06s. The faculty requirements are specific course requirements. For example, a H4 in Irish for primary school teaching or a H4 in maths for most level 8 engineering courses. Points are calculated from your 6 best results in your Leaving Cert. Behind me is Seamus's CAO form. In preference 1, Seamus has primary school teaching. Then he has common entry engineering into CIT. Then he has arts in UCC. Then he has science in UCD, followed by science in Maynooth, followed by arts in WIT. Then he has sports science in AIT, medicine in Galway, followed by culinary arts in TUD. And then lastly, he has aerospace engineering in Carlow Institute of Technology. So Seamus does his Leaving Cert. He gets 373 points. The results of note are in Irish, he gets a H5. In maths, he gets a H6. And in French, he gets an 07. Now, the CAO computer does all the work. It creates the offers. So he processes his results in conjunction with his CAO form. So for course number 1, primary school teaching in DCU, Seamus gets the college requirements, but he doesn't get the faculty requirements because he came in with a H5 in Irish, and the minimum requirement for primary school teaching is a H4. So there's no offer given there. Now the computer moves down to preference number 2, which was engineering in CIT. He gets the college requirements, he gets the faculty requirements, but unfortunately he's 10 points short, so therefore no offer. Number 3, arts in UCC. He gets the college requirements, but the faculty requirements don't happen because he failed French. He got an 07 in French, therefore no offer given. Number 4, UCD science. He gets the college requirements, he gets the faculty requirements, but he's a whole lot short in the points. He's 110 points short, therefore no offer given there either. Now to Maynooth. College requirements, faculty requirements, I'm getting nervous, and points requirement. He meets the criteria, he gets an offer. This is what they call a round 1 offer. Everything is satisfied, so the offer is given. It's time to celebrate. You should accept this offer because you might not get another. The thing to take note here is that every course below his offer are deleted off the system forever. Now, round 2 offers, I hear you say. Some people don't accept their offers. They go traveling, they have to go working, they save up money. For whatever reason, they don't go to college. So the points drop a little bit. Now, in this case, for preference number 2, Seamus was 10 points short. The points for preference number 2 dropped by 15 points. Now, Seamus gets the points to get in and he gets accepted. So this is called a round 2 offer. Now, the courses between the 2 offers are now deleted too. So be careful. He has a choice to accept this new offer or stay with the original one. Things to note then are important dates. Make sure you understand when the deadlines are. Get lots of information about the courses, otherwise you won't know how to put them in order of preference. Put them in order of preference because you know what they are. Don't worry about wasting points. That's a distraction in putting things in order of preference. Understand how the CAO system works. Be on time. Put a safety net course in because you never know how things might go, and good luck.
So I know it's a lot of information about CAO, and if it's your first time going through it, it's a lot to take in. But I'm going through CAO in a lot of detail in careers classes with the students each week. Starting this week, we started looking at the CAO process. So they're doing it in careers class. So, you know, they should be able to sit down with you then at home and go through it with you. But I suppose the main thing is that the CAO form, it's an application form to the colleges. The students can put in up to 20 course choices on the form, and the CAO computer then does the work when the Leaving Cert results come out. So it will have a look at, okay, does the student meet the college entry requirements? Do they meet the course entry requirements? And how many points have they got in their Leaving Cert? And like the video was shown, then they'll get an offer or maybe they won't. So when they're filling in the application form, just some things that it will look for. It's quite a detailed form, but we'll look at it in class and I can help them with it one-on-one as well. So they will be asked for personal details. They will be asked for their qualifications so far, so they'll put in information on their junior cycle. There is a payment, there's a fee for it. They will get to list their level 8 courses then. I should have had an 8 there, so apologies for that. They can put up to 10 level 8 courses down in order of preference, like this image here that you can see. Then they get another page like this where they can list up to 10 level 6 or 7 courses. Okay, so they can have 20 courses in total. And as it said in the video, and as I'm saying to them all the time in class and when I see them, they need to put down their course choices in order of preference. So number one on their list should be their dream course, the course that they really, really want to get into. Because you see in there that the CAO computer, once it makes an offer, it will delete off the courses that are lower down on your list of preference. Because CAO, the computer is thinking, well, Seamus isn't interested really in his choice 7, 8, 9, 10. He really wants his top choice if he can get it. So it's really important that they put them in order of preference, dream course being first. And then maybe their dream course is in law, for example, and they really want to study law in Trinity. So that's what they put down as number one. But another backup there could be number two, could be law in UCD. So maybe UCD isn't the first preference, but it's still a similar course. So it's just really important that they do that. They'll also be asked about here and there on their application form, and I'll talk a little bit about those later. And they'll also be asked whether they have an Irish exemption or not. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit later. So it is quite a detailed form and it can take a little bit of time to fill in. But as I said, I will be going through it with them in class, and I will be having one-on-one appointments with all of the sixth years as well to help them with it. The great news is that on the CAO website, there is a demo application form. So you could log on as a parent or guardian, or the students themselves can log on and fill in like a practice application form to get used to it. So when you go on to cao.ie, if you click on the box for applicants, you'll get a page like this. And just here it says application demo. So if you click on there, it will bring you to a demo application form. And you can fill it in as if it's the real deal, you know, and review it at the end and see, are you happy? And then the student can use that then when they go to fill it in for real. But like they say here, it's just really important to know that this is a demo application and it doesn't excuse them from not following the online instructions and filling in the actual form itself. So it's really important that when they do go to fill in their real form, that they make sure they're not in the demo mode. But again, I'll go through that with them in class. But I think it's good for parents to see, you can actually go on and see what the form looks like and what all the questions on it are. So that's that one there. So applying to the CAO, I know that video we watched is really, you know, focused on students, and it's saying it's your choice, your decision. So for you as parents and guardians, just to remember that ultimately it is their choice. And it's their responsibility and their decision at the end of the day. They're deciding their future. But, you know, just as much as we want to support them in school, you want to support them in making that decision about their future. So when it comes to thinking about CAO, or whether it's looking at the PLCs, you know, some things that you can consider is, well, what are the subjects taught on the course? You know, what are the modules that are involved in it? What are the different options within the course? For example, is there an opportunity to study abroad for a year, to do an Erasmus year? What's the distance from home? Where is the college? Does it mean that they're going to need to move out of home? Do you need to look at accommodation as well as paying, you know, college fees? What are the career opportunities, the costs there of going to college as well? So the fees, the books, the supplies, the transport, the accommodation. So all of these things are things that, you know, you can be looking at with them that they need to consider when they're making their decision. So to get the information like that, college websites themselves are very good. College prospectuses and open days are very good. As you know, we went to Higher Options there last week in the RDS, and all the colleges from around the country were represented there. And I brought back loads of the prospectuses, which are just the books that the colleges produce themselves with all the information on all the courses that they offer. So they're in the school, and the students are welcome to take them and bring them home and have a look at them and drop them back. But all the same information is on the college websites as well. Two really good websites then are qualifax.ie and careersportal.ie. And they're basically really big databases of all the different college courses that are available in Ireland. And we'll have a look at those in a few minutes. And another thing to do would be to talk to family or friends who have experience of going to college and, see what it was like for them. And they might have some advice or suggestions for the students as well. So I just want to go back to the internet here and just have a look at a couple of the websites. So college websites, you can go on directly onto those. I'm just going to show you really quickly Qualifax and Careers Portal. And I've been showing these in class since last year, so the students are very used to them already. Qualifax, this one here, like I said, it's just a database of all the different courses that are available out there. So when students go on, or when you yourself go on to Qualifax, if you click into the Students tab, and then if you click on Course Finder here on the left-hand side, and then if you click on All Courses, and what you can do then is you can search for whatever area that your child is telling you that they're interested in. So for example, if they're interested in law, I think we mentioned that one earlier, if they're interested in law, you just put in the keyword law at the top and click the search button. And it will bring up for them a full list of all the different colleges that have law in them. Okay, now there's 429 here. There's 429 different courses around the country that have a course in law, which is amazing. But that's a huge amount of results to filter down through or to read down through. So you might want to refine the search. And one thing I would say to students to refine, first of all, is maybe the area. Where do you want to be studying? Do you want to stay at home? Do you want to stay in the Dublin area? Or do you want to maybe move down to Sligo or Cork, or where are you thinking? So there is an option there to change the county. So if we even just change it to Dublin and search. You can see there that there's a lot less. There's 173 courses coming up now, which is a little bit less. And you could see there from the refine that there is other things that you can refine it down by, so that you're getting a less amount of courses popping up to search down through. But just to show you, when you do your search and all of the courses come up in the area that you're interested in, when you click into the course itself, so this one here is in Trinity College in Dublin, okay? It's their level 8 law. If you click into it, then you basically get this table here with all the information about the course on it. So the course provider, the code that it is, how to apply, the qualification, the duration of the course there. So it's a 4-year full-time course. It will tell you what the minimum entry requirements are. Okay, it will tell you, if there's any admission requirements. It will, just all the information then about what's involved in the course as well. As you scroll down, then you can see, okay, the course content and the subjects taught within the course, and you can just expand on those sections so that you're getting the full information about the course. And it all comes up there. At the very bottom then is where you'll see the points history. So if your son or daughter is coming to you saying that they want to do law this year in 2022, law in Trinity, the points were 589. So that might start a conversation with them about, okay, well, are they studying? What levels are they doing in their subjects? If their summer exams in 5th year happen to be their Leaving Cert exams, would they have come out with 589 points? So it's something to look at and something for them to do when they're setting targets for themselves. And again, I do that in class with them. And I think it's good to know. So that's Qualifax. That's just a really, really quick look at it. But it is very user friendly and the students are using it in class. So definitely get them to show you around it as well. The other one I mentioned there was Careers Portal. And this again is just another database of all the different courses and careers and apprenticeships that are available. You can see the sections that are there. So again, if you're looking for a course, you can type in law again there. You can filter it down by college if you want to, or you can just click search now and it will bring up the full list then of courses as well in law. So you can see them there as well. So it's just a slightly different looking website, but essentially both of them have more or less the same information. but they're just really good websites where you can see all of the courses in one place. Whereas if you go onto the college website, it will just have the courses available in that particular college. But that's another option as well, particularly if students are dead set, I want to go to Maynooth, or I want to go to Trinity, I want to go to UCD, then focus in on those websites and maybe look out for when those colleges have their open days. The CAO handbook is a really good document to have, and it can be downloaded from cao.ie. So that's just the front cover of it there. The first section of the book really goes into a lot of detail about the application process, the procedures, the deadlines, and so on. And then the second section of the book, or the white pages in the book, is a list of all of the courses and the codes that are attached to them. So when students are filling in their CAO application and they're filling in their choices, so remember they get 10 level 8 choices and 10 level 6 or 7s, they need to check the codes beside the course on the white pages in this book, and they need to be really careful that they're keying in the correct code for the course that they want. So it's a really important handbook, and it can be downloaded there from cao.ie. I'll just show you very quickly. If we go to cao.ie, I go to the home page there, and you can see at the top they have a tab for the handbook. So when you click in there, you can download a PDF version, and they've also released this year an interactive version for 2023. So that's just one where you click into it, there's links in it, and it will jump from page to page a little bit easier for you. But the PDF one is enough to have, and the students have it already downloaded into Teams for them for their classes. So they have it there, and it's always available on the CAO website as well. So that's the handbook. Like I've been saying all along, there is a careers class every week. So once a week, the 6th years have a careers class with me, and the Leaving Cert Applied students actually have the pleasure of seeing me 5 times a week, because I have them for 2 different subjects, and part of the time is spent with them on guidance and thinking about their future options. So they all get to see me, at least once a week for class. And then all 6th year students, okay, so LCAs as well, will also get a one-to-one appointment with me. So over the next few weeks coming up to midterm break, every single one of them will have been given the opportunity to have a half an hour meeting with me, where we'll focus in really on what they're thinking about for the future and getting ready for filling in their CAO application, or maybe it's their PLC application, or maybe it's an apprenticeship that they want to do. So they will be getting that anyway. And like I said earlier, they can request an extra appointment with me through the website if they want to do that. So just some things to remember with CAO is to list their courses in order of preference. The first course should be the one that they want the most. It should be their dream course. And just to remember that they have to meet the entry requirements of the college, they have to meet the course entry requirements, and they have to get the points to be offered a place. So it's the 3 things that they need to meet in order to be offered a place. And points, just to say, depend on supply and demand. So points change. They tend to stay more or less the same year on year, but that doesn't mean that there won't be a big change from this year to next year and so on. It depends on the demand for the course. So for example, if there's 100 places available on a course and 150 students apply for it, the top 100 students point-wise who also meet matriculation, so who also meet the entry requirements, will be offered the places. And then the last person to get in, person 100 to be offered the course, whatever their points are, that's what the points are set at for that course. So that's how it works points-wise. I would be saying to students, what's more important to focus on is what are the entry requirements. Because if you're meeting those, you've got a good chance of getting enough points to get onto the course. So just to say that. One thing that's really important to be aware of with CAO is there are some restricted courses. And if a student is thinking of applying for a restricted course, it has to be on their CAO choices by the 1st of February 2023 at 5 p.m. So there are certain courses that are restricted, and they're generally courses that require a portfolio to be submitted, or maybe there's an assessment or an interview that needs to be done for that course, as well as having your Leaving Cert points and entry requirements as well. So it's just important. So if a student is coming to me in the next few weeks and it's a restricted course, I'll be advising them of that as well, that it has to be on by the 1st of February. It cannot be added on after that date if it is a restricted course. So it's really important for them to be aware of that. If any of the students have been resident outside of the EU, whether it's in the past tense or present, they need to look at page 30 of the CAO handbook, okay? So if you have at any time resided or at present resident outside of the EU, then you may be required to apply directly to some of the higher education institutes. So you might not be able to do it through CAO. So if you think that affects you, maybe just get your son or daughter to let me know, or send me an email and I can have a chat with you about that. That's important to know as well. So you might actually just have to apply directly to the college rather than going through the CAO application process. And the last little thing on CAO is about the Irish exemptions. So some of our students are exempt from studying Irish and they won't be sitting Irish in the Leaving Certificate exam. If that is the case, they need to make sure that they tick the Irish exemption box on their CAO application form. So there is a tick box that they need to do, which tells CAO and tells the institutions that they have an Irish exemption. They need to follow that up then by posting a copy of their exemption to CAO and to the admission offices of the colleges or universities that they've put on their choices. And what that means then is it just means that, okay, they have an official Irish exemption. Okay, so it's just letting the college and university know that they have that exemption, that it is an official exemption, and they can stay in the race then in CAO for the courses that they have put down. The only issue would be with courses that require Irish. So for example, for primary school teaching, students have to have a H4 in Irish. So they wouldn't be able to apply for it if they're not sitting the Irish exam. So just one last thing to know about CAO. The Leaving Certificate points, this is in our student journal. It's also on page 26 of the CAO handbook, and you can find it online as well. But just there you can see what each of the grades at higher level work out at points wise, and the same with the ordinary level subjects, what they work out at points wise. And when it comes to the results of the Leaving Cert, it's the top 6 subjects that are added together to get their points. And then the CAO computer uses that along with the entry requirements before making the offers. Okay, just some important dates. I'm not going to go through all of these because I will be going down through them in class with the students, but just the first few are really important. So if your child is applying to CAO for a level 6, 7 or 8 course, they need to start their application as soon as possible. So the application process opens online the first week of November, and they have up until the 20th of January at 5 p.m. to get their application filled in, and that will cost them €30. So the fee is €30 if they apply by the 20th of January. If they're a little bit late applying, the normal closing date is the 1st of February, but that's at a cost of €45. So we're going to aim to get everyone in at the €30. But if they're a little bit late, the 1st of February, it's €45. Okay. If they miss the 1st of February, they've missed the boat for CAO. So they need to have their application in by the 1st of February at the very, very latest. And remember, restricted courses need to be on by then. As we move through the year, then there is time to make changes if their preferences change. There is time later on in the year to make changes there, but that's only possible if they've actually made the application. And again, it's up to them. They might hound you to pay the fee, but it's up to them to fill in the application form as much as possible, and to look after it themselves. With your help, that's absolutely fine, but it really is on them to do this. So those 2 dates are really, really important just to know those. And this page is on page 1 in the CAO handbook. So I won't go through all the details of it there. Those are the important ones for now, the 20th of January and the 1st of February. Okay, so I just want to briefly talk about a few other things before we finish up. So UCAS, if anyone is considering studying in the UK, so if any of your sons or daughters are thinking they'd like to study in the UK, then ucas.com is the website that they need to go to. So it's very similar to CAO. It's just the application process that they use for UK and Northern Ireland. So ucas.com is where they go to. Just some application deadlines for UCAS. If they're thinking of applying to start college in the UK or Northern Ireland in 2023, there is a deadline of the 15th of October, which is really, really soon. So the 15th of October 2022, for anyone who's considering Oxford or Cambridge, or if they're considering courses in medicine, veterinary, science, or dentistry. Okay, so that's really important to know if they're looking at those areas. So Oxford or Cambridge, or courses in medicine, veterinary science, or dentistry. So if they're considering the UK for any of those areas, they have to have their application in by the 15th of October. And I've said this to them in class, they need to come and talk to me very, very quickly about that and to get some support with that. For all other applications, for all other courses, the majority of them in the UK, they have until the 25th of January to make their application. Just a little bit on UCAS applications. They need to register with UCAS, fill in their details, like their personal details, their residency status, and so on. They'll be asked about their education history, their employment history, if they've had a part-time job or done volunteer work. They can select up to 5 courses. So the CAO, remember, they're going to get the opportunity to put in up to 20 courses. For UCAS, it's up to 5. They'll need to do a personal statement. There's a fee for their application. So for 2023, if it's one course they're applying for, a single choice, it's £22.50. If they want up to the 5 or more than one choice, it's £27. They also need to get a reference, and then they need to submit their application. So there's quite a bit to do in the UCAS application. So particularly for anyone with that deadline at the 15th of October, they would really need to be working on it now. Some of the things that the UK colleges and Northern Ireland colleges teams will look at when they're reviewing the application is, well, what are their qualifications so far? They'll look at their personal statement. The personal statement is a really big deal for UK colleges. So they want to know, is the student genuinely interested in this course? Are they showing a passion for it? Have they any experience in it so far? What are they hoping to gain from the college? What are they hoping to succeed in the future? They'll look at the content of the reference that's made, and they'll want to know about their attitude to learning and how well they can articulate themselves. So the personal statement is really, really important for the UCAS applications. And just one last thing on UCAS is the tariff points. So for students who are completing their Leaving Certificate in Ireland, they obviously come out with CAO points. And the UK universities, when they're looking at the application and when the student gets their Leaving Cert results and their CAO points are calculated, they'll transfer it into tariff points. So if a student comes out with a H1 in any of their subjects, it's 100 CAO points. That equates to 36 tariff points, and so on. You can see the rest of them there all the way down. Or if they're doing a subject in ordinary level and say they get an O3, and that's 37 CAO points, that would equate to 8 tariff points in the UK system. So that table is there, and it's taken directly from the UCAS website. You'll be able to refer to it, and the students have seen it in class already. For anyone considering studying in a European country, so outside of Ireland and the UK, then UniCAS is the website to have a look at. So it's the European University Central Application Support Service. So they don't process the applications, but they do support students in making applications for European colleges. So to register with UniCAS, it's €38. And for that fee, they'll support students in applying for up to 8 programs in European colleges. They're a fantastic organisation, a really, really good website. And I do know 1 or 2 students have expressed an interest in at least considering, studying in a European country. So UniCAS is a great website for that. And again, I'm happy to support them as well. They just need to let me know. Just really quickly on apprenticeships. So apprenticeships is another option for students. Some students may be feeling, you know, I don't want to go down the traditional route of college, and that's absolutely fine. There are over 60 different apprenticeships available at the moment in Ireland. So there's apprenticeships in logistics, in insurance, in arboriculture, biopharma, construction, engineering, electrical, finance, hairdressing, hospitality, ICT, property, motor, recruitment, and sales. So traditionally, when we think about apprenticeships, I think a lot of us think about the construction industry, about the trades like carpentry and heating and plumbing and so on. But there's actually so many more new apprenticeships that have come on board more recently. So they're just another option for students who might be feeling like, yeah, that's really the area that I want to get into. I don't necessarily want to go and study and sit in a lecture hall for 3 or 4 years. So one thing to know, or a few things to know about apprenticeships are it's an earn while you learn model. So whether the student is with their employer or in college doing their training part in college, they're earning money. They get paid every week while they're an apprentice, whether they're on the job or in college doing their training. Typically, apprenticeships are spread over 7 phases. So you spend some of those phases, some of your time with your employer, and then some of the time in the college or training centre. They're usually about 4 years in duration. The first step, if you decide you want to be an apprentice, and let's say you're thinking, I want to be a motor mechanic, and that's the apprenticeship that I want to do, the first thing that the student needs to do is they need to find an employer who's willing to take them on. And that employer needs to be registered with SOLAS. They need to be able to register the apprentice then with SOLAS and register them with the local training board, step 2 there, so that they can get their college or training part of their apprenticeship completed as well. Okay, we did go to World Skills, as you know, we brought the students to World Skills in the RDS there 2 weeks ago, where they got to see all of the different apprenticeships on show. So they've been there and they've kind of got an idea, and some of them maybe have said to you at home, oh, I might do this, I might do that. So they're just another option, a really good option. I think the best thing about them is you're earning money while you're learning, you know, so they're getting paid every week. Sometimes if you go the traditional route to college, then you're having to have a part-time job as well in order to fund it, which is absolutely fine. That's what I did. That's what loads of us did. Apprenticeships are just another option. Okay, here then is the higher education access route. So just really quickly on here, it's basically a scheme that offers places on reduced points and extra college support to those who are resident in Ireland and underrepresented at higher education due to their socio-economic background. So it's the higher education access route. And one of the main eligibility criteria for it is the income. So the finance or the income coming into the home might mean that the student might be eligible to apply for here. And it just means that they might get their place on a reduced points level. You know, so they might not get quite the amount of points needed, but there is a reduced point scale then for some students, okay? Here applicants just need to meet a range of indicators, I suppose. So financial, social and cultural indicators are what they need to meet. So if I just actually go to the next slide, you can see here. So the family, the income bit is the one that they absolutely have to meet the criteria for, plus then another indicator. So for the income, if in your home, if there's fewer than 4 dependent children in the family, and the income coming into your house is 46,790 or less, then the student should consider applying for here. If there's 4 to 7 dependent children, you can see it goes up to 51,000. And if there's more than 8, there's 55,000. So if you think in your home that the income coming in is somewhere around any of those marks, just say to your son or daughter just to come and talk to me, and we can have a look and see, can they apply for here on their CAO application. So it's important to know that they must meet the income indicator. So you must be falling into one of these categories here. And then they also need to meet some of the other indicators, which can be medical cards, means tested social welfare, socioeconomic group, school or area. Okay, and you can see there the combination that's needed. Okay, so I don't want to dwell on it too much because it might not affect a lot of people. But if you feel that you meet the income criteria, then maybe send me an email or get your son or daughter to say it to me, and we can have a look at the other factors then, at the other indicators, and see should we go ahead with an application. The website for that is accesscollege.ie. So they have lots of information and really good videos up on their website about here, if you want to find out more about that. DARE then is the disability access route to education. So this is for any learners, any students who have a disability or who have a specific learning difficulty. And, you know, if they feel that because of that disability or that learning difficulty, maybe it's had an impact on their second level education, then they might be eligible to apply for DARE. And DARE, just like here, offers reduced points places to school leavers. So it might just give them that extra opportunity, that extra edge to get into the course that they want to, if they don't quite get the same points as the next student. And again, Access College is the website to have a look at for that one. SUSI, I think this is nearly my last slide. SUSI is the Student Universal Support Ireland, okay, susi.ie. And SUSI is basically offers grants to students to support them in furthering their education, okay? So it offers funding to eligible students, from school leavers to mature students returning to education, in approved full-time third level courses. It applies to PLC courses, level 5 courses, as well as the 6, 7 and 8 courses. So to meet the eligibility, I would say go on to susi.ie and have a read of it in more detail. But some of the things that they look at is your residency, your income, the maximum period that the grant is available for, previous education, and is it an approved course in an approved institution? So are you doing a course that is in an approved institution? And if you meet that eligibility, then you might be available for one, or entitled, should I say, to one of their grants. So they have a fees grant and they have a maintenance grant. So the fees grant would cover the cost of the course, the college fees, and the maintenance grant would help towards accommodation and also towards books and any supplies that the student might need for college. So SUSI is the website to look at there, and usually their application process opens around Easter time. So it's something I'll look at with students in class after Christmas, and if they think they might be eligible, I can help them with applying for that grant, and they might be lucky to get a fee, help with fees or help with accommodation and books and so on. So that's SUSI. Okay, so just some useful websites. I mentioned these throughout the webinar just to have them there all in one place. So CAO, Qualifax, Careers Portal, UCAS, Access College, SUSI. AHEAD, I don't think I mentioned, but AHEAD have a conference coming up. It's an online webinar and kind of like this in November time, and they support students with disabilities or learning difficulties who want to go on to higher education. So that's a good website to have a look at as well. The PLC courses, for a database of all the PLCs available, apprenticeship.ie. WSI Live is World Skills Ireland Live. So that's the exhibition we went to a couple of weeks ago. And that also has a lot of information about apprenticeships on it. And then obviously our own website, as I was showing you there at the start. So Graphene CC, click on curriculum and then select guidance, and it will bring you to that website that I'm going to do my very best to keep updated every week with any information that I come across. So yeah, so I'm at the end now. I know this has been information overload. There's been a lot to take on there, and I'm sure you've got questions. So if you do have questions, or I'd really love some feedback on the webinar as well. If there was anything you thought worked really well or anything you would have liked more time on, or it may be a different way of presenting the information. If you want to scan the QR code there, or you can just type in the link, and that will bring you to a questions and answers form where you can fill in your questions and your feedback, and that will send an email to me, and then I'll be able to either email you back or give you a ring or set up an appointment if that's what's needed, and we can have a chat about things that way. So I might just leave that there for maybe 10 or 15 seconds, just if anyone wants to scan the code. And just to say, the webinar has been recorded, so I will get that up onto the school website and onto the guidance part of the website in the next few days. So you'll be able to go back and listen to it again if you want to, but obviously the QR code and the link will be available there as well if you don't get it this evening. So that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for logging on this evening and for giving up that time. I know it was information overload, but I do hope you got something from it. And please don't hesitate in contacting if there's anything I can do to help. Just send me an email or send a note in the journal or ring the school, whatever it is. I'm very, very happy to answer any questions. Or if I don't know the answer, I will find someone who does, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah, so I'm going to go and let you all get back to your Thursday evening. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.